So a subscriber just sent me an image of Kris Wu's palm and told me that he has been recently imprisoned for crimes. So this is his hand. So let's see what are the drawbacks. Now, first of all, I notice that the heart line is dipping downwards. So whenever it dips downwards, this means that the emotions are not positive. This means that it's going towards Mars negative. So the emotions are negative. So this happens that the person is also, if we see, Mars is the area of aggression. So the person's heart is related to his aggression. So the aggression is there, anger is there. So the person commits crime due to this anger. And then we see that the headline and lifeline are joined for a very long while. This means that the person is introverted, the person is secretive, so that's why he was able to like hide it for a very long while, and it's joined for a very long while. So this is why he was able to hide it for a very long while. And on top of that, we see that the headline itself is going towards the upper Mars mount. So the upper Mars mount is the mount of stubbornness. This means that the person is extremely stubborn. This means that they are very mentally strong. So they don't carrying out crimes. You need to be very mentally strong for that. Even though mentally you have to be negatively strong for that, but you still have to have that mental power, that acumen to commit the crime. So this is why his headline is going towards the upper Mars mount. Then we see that the fate line is tied to the lifeline. So when it's tied to the under the lifeline, when it comes from under the lifeline, this means that the early circumstances, the parents are very strict and the upbringing is very flawed. It's not a good upbringing. So this also leads to later on when the person gets freedom, they start doing crimes in their free time, so that they have that negative aspect from the upbringing. So this is what happens. So but the another worst aspect is that the Apollo mount is too strong. This means that the person is thirsty for fame. The person is lusting after fame. So this is the power of the Apollo mount when it is very strong. And then we see that the Apollo finger is also high set. So this Apollo mount is too developed. This means that the person will do anything for fame. And this drawback is that if they get fame in their public life, in their personal life, they don't get the good result, they get the bad result. Especially if there's a, if the picture was clearer, I think there would be a star on this mount, because the star also represents a good public life but bad personal life. So there's that as well. But the main issue with this person is the heart line. We see that there are lines dropping from the heart line downwards. So this means disappointments in love. And then we see that the heart line itself is dipping downwards towards the lower Mars mount, which means that aggression is a part of the heart. The heart is aggressive. The heart is filled with negative, because this is called the lower Mars. This is called the negative Mars. So the person is getting all the negativity associated with the heart line. So this is why there were so many problems. If we also see that the fate line is also not clear, in it's getting a square sign. So square sign on the fate line also means imprisonment. So there's that as well. So that is why the square sign is very prominent. So that when it's on the fate line, it means imprisonment. And then if we see that the lifeline is also very weak, a strong lifeline goes like this and goes fully and circles the mount of Venus. But here we see that it's narrow and it's narrowing the mount of Venus. So narrow, and the mount of Venus is also narrow. So narrow mount of Venus means less passion, and the person is less friendly. The heart is not warm, the heart is cold. So the heart line also shows a cold heart, and the Venus mount also shows a cold heart. So there's that as well. And there's an extra Mars line, which means that the person's main lifeline, even though it's weak, the Mars line makes up for it. So there's that as well. But the Venus mount is very narrow. So that also shows a narrowness of mind and overall. And that the moon mount is also very developed. This shows extra imagination, too much imagination in the subject. And this Apollo mount shows too much desire of fame. So this is all for Kris Wu's palm reading. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, then subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.